Have you ever wondered whether a comic can break your heart and change your perspective? This isn't mere ink on a page. It's a heart stopping, perspective altering force that drags you through the raw, unfiltered depths of human history, leaving you gasping and forever changed. Hi, I'm Ridhima. Welcome to the Old Trunk. Today we're exploring The Complete Mouse by Art Spiegelman, a book that transcends traditional storytelling. It represents a fundamental shift in how we understand narrative, history, and human nature. This isn't merely a graphic novel, it's a powerful, transformative work that resonates long after the final page. So, what is Mouse? At its core, it's a graphic novel that tells a deeply personal story about survival, memory, and family. It's set against the backdrop of one of the darkest periods in history, the Holocaust. But it's not just a historical account, it's a layered narrative that weaves together the past and present, focusing on a son trying to understand his father's experiences. The story is raw, emotional, and unflinchingly honest, and Spiegelman uses a unique visual metaphor to bring it to life. I won't spoil anything, but trust me, the way the story is told is unlike anything you've read before. Before we dive deeper, let's talk about graphic novels as a medium, because Mouse is a shining example of why they matter. Graphic novels combine text and visuals to tell stories, but they're not just comics for adults. Their roots go back to the early 20th century with comic strips and pulp magazines. But the modern graphic novel, as we know it, started taking shape in the 1970s and 80s. Will Eisner's A Contract with God in 1978 is often credited as one of the first to use the term graphic novel, elevating comics to a serious literary form. Over time, graphic novels evolved from superhero tales to diverse narratives, tackling everything from personal memoirs to political commentary. Mouse, published in serialized form starting in 1980 and later as a complete work, was a game changer. It won a Pulitzer Prize in 1992, the first graphic novel to do so, proving that this medium could handle heavy, complex themes with nuance. Graphic novels like Persepolis and Saga and Sandman are now ubiquitous, frequently adapted into films, TV series, and other media. So many books are being converted into graphic novels. You ask why? Firstly, accessibility. Visuals make stories more immediate and engaging, especially for reluctant readers. Second, the emotional impact. The combination of art and words can hit you in ways prose alone sometimes can't. Third, cultural relevance. Graphic novels are a perfect fit for our visually driven world, where we're used to processing stories through images on screens. Mouse uses this medium to tell a story that's both intimate and universal. And it's a prime example of why graphic novels are a vital part of modern literature. Before moving any further, let me tell you, in Mouse, animals are used as a powerful metaphorical device to represent different groups of people. emphasizing the dehumanization and racial hierarchies imposed during the Holocaust. Jews are depicted as mice, Nazis as cats, Poles as pigs, and other groups like Americans as dogs, creating a stark visual allegory for the predatory dynamics of oppression. This anthropomorphic approach underscores the absurdity and brutality of Nazi ideology, which reduced individuals to stereotypes based on ethnicity or religion. By using animals, Spiegelman not only highlights the vulnerability and persecution of the Jewish people, but also critiques the broader societal tendency to categorize and dehumanize others, making the narrative both deeply personal and universally resonant. The animal allegory thus serves as a critical tool to convey the horrors of the Holocaust while inviting readers to reflect on the consequences of prejudice and division. Now let's talk about the story of Mouse without giving anything away. The narrative operates on two timelines. In one, we're in the past, following a Jew man's experiences in Poland during the rise of Nazi persecution. In the other, we're in the present, where his son is trying to piece together his father's story through conversations. It's a story about survival, but it's also about the ripple effects of trauma, how it shapes relationships, memories, and identity. What makes Mouse so compelling is its refusal to simplify. It doesn't glorify or sensationalize, it just shows you the messy human truth. The past timeline is harrowing, but grounded in personal details that make it feel real, while the present timeline adds a layer of reflection, showing how history lingers in everyday life. Spiegelman balances these threads masterfully, creating a story that's both a historical document and a deeply personal family portrait. Now let's meet the major characters. There are three key figures in Mouse, and each brings something unique to the story. Wladek Spiegelman. Wladek is the heart of the story. He's a Polish Jew who lived through unimaginable hardship during the Holocaust. In the past timeline, we see him as a resourceful, determined young man navigating a world that's increasingly hostile. In the present, he's an older man, complex and sometimes difficult. What's fascinating about Wladek is how Spiegelman portrays him. Not as a saintly hero, but as a flawed human survivor. His quirks, like his frugality or stubbornness, make him relatable. But they also create tension in his relationships. Wladek's character asks us to think about what survival costs and how it shapes someone's personality over time. Art Spiegelman, Art, the author himself, is the second major character. He's a cartoonist, trying to understand his father's past while grappling with their strained relationship. Art's role in the story is fascinating because he's not just a passive narrator. He's an active participant, questioning, doubting, and sometimes clashing with Wladek. His presence adds a meta layer to Mouse as he reflects on the ethics of turning his father's trauma into art. Art's vulnerability makes him a compelling lens for the story, and his struggle to connect with Wladek feels universal. Who hasn't tried to bridge a gap with a parent? Anya Spiegelman. Anya, Wladek's wife and Art's mother, is the third key figure. Though she's less present in the present timeline, her influence looms large. In the past, we see her as a sensitive, intelligent woman, facing the same horrors as Vladek. Anya's character adds emotional depth to the story, and her absence in the present raises questions about loss and memory. Spiegelman handles her with care, making her a quiet but powerful presence. These characters drive the story's emotional core. Vladik and Art's relationship is the backbone, full of love, frustration, and unspoken pain. Anya's role ties their experiences together, showing how trauma affects not just individuals but entire families. Spiegelman's choice to make these characters so human, flawed, contradictory, real, makes Mouse resonate on a deeply personal level. Let's talk about Spiegelman's writing and art, because this is where Mouse truly shines. The writing is deceptively simple, conversational, almost like you're eavesdropping on Vladek and Art talking. But beneath that simplicity is a masterclass in storytelling. Spiegelman uses Vladek's voice with its broken English and idiosyncratic phrasing to ground the story in authenticity. The dialogue feels lived in, capturing the rhythms of real conversation. The art, meanwhile, is stark and deliberate. Spiegelman's black and white illustrations are detailed but not flashy, with a rough, hand-drawn quality that feels intimate. He uses a visual metaphor. Different groups of people are depicted as different animals. That's both striking and thought-provoking. This choice isn't just stylistic, it adds layers of meaning, inviting you to think about identity, dehumanization, and prejudice without ever preaching. What's brilliant is how the writing and art work together. The visuals amplify the emotions of the text, whether it's a quiet moment of grief or a tense scene of danger. Spiegelman also breaks the fourth wall at times, reminding you that this is a constructed story, which adds a layer of self-awareness that's rare in any medium. The result is a style that's accessible but endlessly complex. The more you look, the more you find. Okay, let's get personal. Mouse hit me hard. I went in expecting a powerful historical story, but I wasn't prepared for how much it would make me reflect on my own family, my own relationships. The way Spiegelman captures the push and pull between Art and Vladek felt surreal. It reminded me of moments with my own parents, where you love someone but don't always understand them. The historical parts are devastating but never manipulative. They're just honest. I love how Mouse challenges you to think about storytelling itself. How do you tell someone else's story? How do you honor their pain without exploiting it? Spiegelman doesn't shy away from those questions, and that rawness made me trust him as a creator. This book made me cry, and it made me think. And that's the mark of something special. So, what's the verdict? Mouse is a masterpiece. It's a story about survival, family, and the weight of history, bursting with the bold, inimitable flair of graphic novels. It's accessible enough for newcomers to the medium of graphic novels, but deep enough to reward multiple reads. Spiegelman's ability to blend personal and historical, art and text, makes this work that transcends its form. It's not just a book, it's an experience, one that challenges you to confront hard truths while celebrating the resilience of the human spirit. Who should read Mouse? Honestly, everyone. If you're new to graphic novels, this is a perfect entry point. It's approachable but profound. If you love history, it offers a personal lens on a pivotal moment. If you're into character driven stories, the family dynamics will hook you. It's great for teens and adults, though younger readers might need guidance due to the heavy themes. Book clubs, students, history buffs, art lovers, there's something here for all of you. The only prerequisite is an open heart. Wow, finishing Mouse left me floored. Like I just walked through a museum of raw human experience. This isn't just a book, it's a lightning bolt. The kind of story that grabs your heart and doesn't let go. I found myself pausing, staring at those mice faces, feeling the weight of history and family in a way I didn't expect. I'd love to hear what you thought of Mouse. Did Vladik's quirks make you laugh or break your heart? Were you as blown away by Art's stark power as I was? Maybe you're like me and had to sit in silence after the final page, just processing it all. Drop your thoughts below. I'm dying to keep this conversation going with all of you. If Mouse is still on your shelf, unread, trust me, pick it up. It's heavy, but it's worth every moment. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell so that you get notified of whenever I upload a new video. Check the description for the link to buy the book. Until then, stay happy. Thanks for watching. Lots of love. Bye-bye.